There we go. All right. I was like, little delay fuse there. All right, everybody, welcome back. Conversations on Vitality here. As always, James Gardner and Ariel Jarvis joining me each and every Monday to discuss matters of health, wellness, spiritual mindset, mental, physical, you name it. We are here to promote a more vital you. Ariel, how are you?
I'm good, James. How are you?
I am fantastic. I just want to give you a shout out for your amazing contribution to the Women's Expo this weekend and getting
Thank
up
you.
there and sharing some of your genius with all the people. Congrats.
Thank you. It was a full crowd. It was pretty amazing. For
Good.
those of you that didn't make it to the Women's Expo, I did speak for 45 minutes. It was very engaging on the 9 hormones that affect women's health, including menopause. So, some solutions and some tips. It is going to be uploaded on our YouTube channel this week. So, feel free to watch that.
Beautiful. Beautiful. All right. Today we're continuing the body system conversation. So today we're going to dive into the reproductive system, male and
Yeah.
female. A little bit of just a journey into obviously some education, some insights, some challenges, and of course, as always, solutions. Take it
Mhm.
away.
Absolutely. So thank you so much. Well, first of all, like we always like to break down the body system. We've done this since day one. And so with the reproductive system for females, that consists of your ovaries, fallopian tubes, obviously vagina, accessory glands, your internal, external organs. For men, it's obviously the testes, penis, scrotum, the prostate gland, the vas deferens, and the urethra. So it's very important that all of these areas obviously are made up of cells and they have an internal electricity, if you will. And so sometimes the electricity needs to be recharged in order for the cells to maintain their activity, right? Your cells turn over every 25 days, so everything you eat and drink becomes the next generation of cells. And it's also very important not to accumulate too many toxins within certain areas of the reproductive system because that can really affect you with fertility or it can affect you with creating a healthy baby. So we will kind of tie into that. I always like to do my little fun facts. So fun fact is I actually found this quite fascinating and quite funny is the egg will actually reject the sperm and within a millisecond will create a hard coating around the egg, rejecting the sperm from penetrating if the pheromones don't match. So it's always the female's decision to be um, to be fertilized. Isn't that interesting?
Which it should be uh, in general. Wow.
Yeah.
So this internal uh, involuntary response of some pheromone detection says yay or nay, basically.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
Isn't that interesting? Yeah. So it's so cool how
But,
just on a microscopic level things are
oh,
making decisions for us.
oh,
So it's very cool. Um, yeah. And so some of the things obviously that can create infertility would be like an imbalance in your pH. Because if you're too acidic, remember the embryonic fluid in the during pregnancy is alkaline. So if your pH is off and you're too much on the lower spectrum of the pH scale, your body will those eggs and those sperm will literally burn up. So they won't be able to be fertilized and have a healthy baby. So you need to really be mindful about your pH. And this is in extreme cases. This is not like if you're a little bit acidic, you have to be pretty far on the spectrum.
mhm.
Um, Also, dehydration, right? There takes a lot of water and a lot of cellular activity to create electronegativity to create the fetus. So it's very important that you stay hydrated with the right charged water. Your diet plays a role, which we'll talk about shortly, because you want to make sure you have the micronutrients, not macronutrients, micronutrients to start activating fertilization, which will help with cellular dysfunction. Because if you don't have the building blocks, the cells become dysfunctioned and you won't be able to have proper fertility. It can be genetic sometimes. It can be a missing or damaged part. So for people who have had an abortion or who have had ovarian cancer or different types of reproductive cancers, or people that have had ablations or hysterectomies, obviously that will play a role with fertility. And for females, it's age. So women are usually fertile up until about 35 on average. Some women can be up to 38. And men are fertile to the day they die. Yeah.
Well,
So
can I ask you, Ariel, infertility, has there been a rise in infertility in women and or men, but in have we seen that over the years because of some of these things? Because it seems like it just either I'm more aware of the term or I hear it more and more often.
Yes. So because there's so many more environmental toxins and there's so many more harmful things that are entering our ecosystem that we're not detoxifying, or it's manipulating our genes, or it's manipulating our cells or our hormonal system, depending on what that might be. Statistically, and this is all based on what has been recorded, it could be way more, right? But this is obviously what's been recorded is just in the last 2 years, infertility has risen by 70%. 70%. So not
That's
only
incredible.
that's a very high, correlation, right? So first of all, infertility has increased significantly. It's lower in different parts of the world. So obviously this is an overall average. The second thing is stillborns, babies born with black eyes. I actually have 2 friends who had babies, and unfortunately the baby was actually born with completely black eyes. So the sclera, the white part, is no longer present. It's all black. Don't know what that's about. And also miscarriage. So miscarriage has been so high, and it's the highest we've ever seen over the last 2 years. So just something to think about, right, is making sure that we're not around too many environmental toxins. We're detoxing often. I always say pick your poison, don't pick too many, don't do it too often, reset often. And if you are someone who's thinking about conceiving and having a baby, make sure you and your partner are both doing a detox for at least 6 months, because what you don't realize is toxins are stored in your body from the moment you're born and while you're in the womb to the moment you die. So you need to do detoxing.
I want to let's talk about this, because this makes complete sense, and it never has even occurred to me until you just said it.
Yeah.
Right. So 6 months, and just rehash that. Let's go through it again, because I want this. It's powerful.
Yes. So because your cells turn over every 25 days, they are literally absorbing all this new information, and they are coding that information to transcribe it for your DNA or your mRNA or your RNA. And they're sending that information that was received to the next generation of cells. That's not just your diet. That's your emotions. That's your hydration. That's your electronegativity. That's your deficiencies, your imbalance, your dysfunctions. That's also your toxins. And some toxins are more harmful than others. There's different ranges. So for example, a toxin, say from alcohol, would be bad, but a toxin, say from a narcotic or certain pharmaceuticals, can be very dangerous. So just depending. And then it also depends on ratios and how well you metabolize and how well you detox. We obviously detox a small amount every single day just by going to the bathroom or sweating. But it's very important to do a detox every time. We have a fertility program. So every time I run a couple through our fertility program, we have a 6-month detox, because I don't want there to have any sort of neurological effects on the baby. And so it's very important to detox your body. Also, that will affect your hormonal system, which will affect your ability to produce enough milk, right? A lot of women, they don't have enough flow when they're breastfeeding. And so they have to go on baby formula. But if you were to detox, those mammary glands and that glandular system would be producing enough milk for your baby, right? Toxins get in the way of your cells. They cause cellular dysfunction.
So what I'm hearing you say is breastfeeding should be a standard thing available, or it should be done by every woman. In other words, it should be accessible. And when it's not, it's or a lot of times can be toxins that are getting in the way of that.
Yes.
Interesting.
And breastfeeding is about 2 to 5 years. So a lot of times in different cultures, we don't breastfeed long enough for whatever reason, right? Maybe we feel judged, or I don't know. But your baby needs those antibodies to build up their immune system. All 11 body systems need that breast milk, right? And it's also good for the mom.
So, Ariel, you've talked a lot about how predisposed conditions or genetic markers, while there may be a hint of validity to some of that, a lot of it has to do with nutrition in the womb and, you know, what has been going on in the mom's side of that, or dad, whatever, mom's side prior. So this 6-month window could obviously have a very positive impact. Exactly what you're talking about there. Just completely cleaning out the system from everything. Because we always focus on the beer and the wine and the smoking, right? That's only 3 of 1,000 toxins that we deal with on a day-to-day basis, correct?
Correct.
Yeah.
There's toxins in our water. There's toxins that are sprayed on our produce. There's toxins in our makeup and our hair products and our deodorants and our perfumes, our clothing, right? To make this pink or to make this whiter, you know, like people don't realize, to get your nails done, to, you know, all of these things, like there's toxins accumulating that now your body has to go into hyperactive drive to get those toxins out. And what people don't realize is when you're pregnant and you have an umbilical cord attached to your baby, your body is detoxing for the whole 9 months into that baby. And that will actually create weakened cells in those body systems. The other thing that you have to consider too is after you've had your baby, you must have a vaginal delivery, because that bacteria is so important and so crucial for the baby's microbiome. So having a C-section is not only bad for you, but it's also bad for baby, and it's traumatizing to your central nervous system.
And sometimes there is no choice too, right?
Yes, of course. Yeah. Right. But if you can try, obviously, like this is all conversation. Things come up, things happen. There's things out of our control, but sometimes it's important just to understand that, right?
And there's no way for someone that has to do a C-section, there's no way to recreate that vaginal birth, you know, with the bacteria and all of that. There's no way to kind of recreate that after the fact, so to speak.
Unfortunately, during the contractions, there's certain types of bacteria that are actually produced only during that time. And what happens is when you have a C-section, you can't really get that back. You can do things like breastfeeding a little extra longer, playing around with probiotics, eating well, things like that. But God designed you to have a vaginal delivery on purpose. So it is the best way. But obviously, you know, I always say, do what you can with the tools you have, right? So don't cry if you can't do that. But it is important to be self-aware of what you're eating when you're pregnant, right? Because there was actually a study done on how many toxins are actually accumulating through the umbilical cord into baby. They were able to record an average, and it was over 900 toxins a day into your little developing baby. So how do you remove these toxins? Cruciferous vegetables. Green inside, clean inside. I'm not kidding. This is a game changer. It removes all the free-floating estrogens. It removes anything that is a xenoestrogen or carcinogenic material. Anything that is, obviously you want to make sure your cruciferous vegetables are not sprayed. And if they are sprayed, make sure that you soak them in something that can remove the pesticides, herbicides, and glyphosates, because those bind to the hormonal system and create an endocrine disruptor. So it's very important to, you know, do your detox and then maybe work with someone who is a certified nutritionist who can help you during your different stages of fertility. Because your first stage, you have to have more of a high carbohydrate diet. Second stage is more protein based, and third stage is back to high carbohydrate diet. And so many mommies come in and they're like, how much weight am I supposed to gain when I'm pregnant? You're supposed to gain about 20 to 30 pounds. Any more than that, you don't have your nutrition on point. And so what people don't realize is yes, you're feeding two, you're growing two, you're eating for two, but you only need about 200 calories extra a day. Not 2,000, you know? You're not eating 2 burgers and the baby's this big. The baby's like tiny, right? So just taking that into consideration, because that's also an accumulation of toxins, right? If you're gaining 60, 70, 80 pounds and now you have gestational diabetes, like something's wrong, right? That's not normal and that's not healthy for you or baby. And that's going to be a lot harder now for you and your joints to get your body back into alignment, right? And think about what it does to your self-esteem. So there's a whole bunch there, right?
So we talked about kind of detoxing, what you can do to get ready for trying fertility. What are some things some solutions people can use to increase their fertility?
Mm-hmm. So we actually have a fertility program where people have had no success with vitro, which is very expensive, or hormone replacement fertility, things like that. Obviously you can get a surrogate, you can freeze your eggs. There's so many things out there. Our fertility program, just this year, we had 5 families that were able to get pregnant. The only side effect to ours, though, is you can have twins. So that is a disclaimer. We let all the couples know. Out of the 5 couples, 4 had twins. So just so you know, it is a thing. Now, our program, what we do is we work on creating a nice squishy egg, right? So that it doesn't create a hard surface. It doesn't reject the sperm. So it allows your egg and the sperm to be compatible. That's very important. The second one is to create a sticky uterus so that the egg sticks and stays, because the last thing you want is for it to get too heavy and fall off and have a miscarriage. The third one is to speed up the whipping tail of the sperm so that it can get there faster, because sperm can only survive in the vagina for 20 minutes. So if it can't figure out where it's going, it's going to die. And then also increasing sperm count and helping them with direction, because they're kind of swimming in the dark. So there's a lot going on, but we've had a lot of success around that. And you can just take a look at our testimonials.
So can I add, like, obviously some of those markers, the softness, the stickiness, the speed up, the increasing the sperm count, and some navigation. There are different tinctures, concoctions of plants that you bring in to work on that.
Yes, we have 5. So depending on the person, we get you on red raspberry. We get you on, these are capsules, and they're not just a tea. This is a very, it's a bioenergetic. So these all work synergistically together. So we get you on adrenal support, red raspberry. We get you on a prenatal. We get you on some certain supplements that you might be deficient in, depending on your body scan and your blood work. We get you on BW, which works on the hypothalamus and the rest of the body systems and the eggs and all that sort of stuff. We get you on FOT, which helps with increasing fertility and this is all for the woman. So the woman takes all this, and then we get you on some ionized water to create electricity within the reproductive system, and a specific diet. For the men, we just make sure that you're not falling apart in terms of, we have to detoxify you, and then we have to help you with your fertility as well. So we do that through some of our supplements, that we make sure that the levels we look at would be like your iron, your selenium, your omega-369, your vitamin C, D, zinc, E, B9, and B12. So those are the ones we look at, and we want to make sure that all those levels are at homeostasis. If they're too low, then we'll top it up with diet, or we'll top it up with a supplement, depending on how low and how out of range you are.
And can you give the people out there an insight into a timeline for this? I'm sure everyone's different. What would something like that take? Well, actually, first I'm going to ask you, with some of those things you just explained, are they regimented? Do you start with this first, then you bring this on board, then this, or is it kind of a all at once type of?
They are regimented, yes. So depending, every scenario is a little different, but they are regimented. So it just depends. And then sometimes you don't actually finish the bottle. So we've had people through our fertility program where, you know, they were able to get pregnant within 2 weeks, and some took 6 months. So it just depends on what misalignment is taking place, and how consistent you are with remembering to take all the stuff.
Great. And for anyone interested out there, that would be no different than anything else. They would reach out, get in touch with you. They could have a consultation with you.
Yes.
And they would have to, of course, sign the twin disclaimer thing.
It's a thing. It's so funny how that works. Yeah.
Yeah. It is. Yeah, I know. It is funny how that works. Huh? Wow. Okay. So obviously, just to tie this all up, you know, infertility is definitely on the rise. There are a lot of factors out there. For anyone out there that is thinking about having a family, there is the detox to think about. It's not just the financial. It's not just okay, this is the window for us to go, green light, go. It's how do we plan and strategize to get our bodies both optimally, male and female,
yes,
to produce the highest quality egg, sperm, how you want to label it.
Yeah.
So that we minimize some of what we've been talking about now for over a year in terms of conditions that are out there, predisposition to these different factors. It can start with being proactive about your next pregnancy.
Exactly. You said it perfectly, being proactive, right? If you know that your spouse has this that runs in the family and you have this that runs in the family, break the cycle, right? Make sure that you're feeding those nutritional building blocks right off the bat. I mean, look at farmers. You know how long it takes a farmer to prepare the soil, the pH, all the nutrients, all the water. Like there's so much that goes into preparation just to harvest maybe blueberries or apples or whatever. You're about to make human life, right? And there's so many things that want to attack the quality of that life. So doesn't it make sense to prepare your body and your vessel so that you can give your baby and your fetus the best opportunity to strengthen its weaknesses that run in the family so that you can break that cycle?
Love it. Well, thank you, Ariel. This has been fascinating, and I trust that it will be of value to the people that watch this. And for anyone that knows anyone that is trying to have a family, you know, pass this along, share this video, tag them, whatever it takes. Knowledge is power, I always say. So, Ariel, what are we doing next week? Just to give a little insight.
We're going to do the urinary tract. So UTIs, kidney stones, infections, bladder infections. We're going to talk about yeast infections, all the things affects men and women. So we're going to talk about the conditions, the symptoms, the solutions, what it's made up of. And so if you want to hop on next Monday, I would suggest you get your notepad ready because there's going to be a lot of good stuff there.
Excellent. Amazing. Thank you, Ariel, as always. Appreciate you.
Appreciate you.
All right. And thanks to our community for watching. We will see you next week. All right. Bye for now.
Bye.